As many of you know, Dave Portnoy has become quite well known. He's the founder of Barstool, which grew into a very successful sports company, a very successful site that covers sports, and it has really become a major business. There are now Barstool bars all over the place. I was in Scottsdale, Arizona just a week ago or 2 weeks ago. There's a big Barstool bar right at the heart of downtown Scottsdale, all over the place. He's become extremely wealthy as a result, but he's also ventured out more into politics, and he's one of those kind of guys that you could kind of describe as being adjacent to what has become the manosphere. Very kind of, just men being men is the idea without any embarrassment. Talking about women, sports, those sorts of things. And the political ethos that has come out of this is very much one that says cancel culture is wrong. People shouldn't be punished for offensive things they say, especially for jokes. They're particularly offended. The whole Rogan sphere is when a comedian tells a joke about a certain group and people get offended. It's like, why would you get offended by a joke? We can't keep having this repressive atmosphere. Dave Portnoy has been one of the leaders of that. He endorsed Trump as a result of a lot of these issues. And he has been known for and associated with that kind of ethos. Like anything goes, anything can be said. If you're offended, who cares? Just be offended. And that's what was so remarkable to see this weekend, that Dave Portnoy went on one of the podcasts, the various podcasts that Barstool hosts, and he was on there with an employee of his. I believe his name is Kirk Minihane, and they got into an extremely heated argument because Dave Portnoy was arguing that it is inappropriate at this moment when Jews face such intense and incomparable dangers to tell jokes at the expense of American Jews, to tell jokes about Jews. You can joke about other groups, he was arguing, just not jokes about Jews, the group to which Dave Portnoy coincidentally happens to belong. That's the one group that is too endangered, too vulnerable, to the point where not even jokes about them should be permitted. I'm not saying he was arguing for a law that would imprison people for telling Jewish jokes, just that at this point, it should be considered utterly unacceptable socially to even tell a joke about Jewish people. And here was part of that exchange.
I think right now you probably
nothing.
Nothing.
Silence everything. Every comedian, don't tell a joke about it. Because Dave, that's how the world works. I agree with you.
Go back to your question. When does freedom of speech impinge on freedom of religion?
Not mine. That was your question.
Answer it.
How many deaths?
Yeah.
I don't have an answer.
American citizens.
What's your answer to that question?
Now.
We're there. Now. So now what? So now what do we do?
So maybe you stop with the Jew jokes and act like it's not a big deal when someone does the Jews in a bar.
Here's the thing. I'm with you 1,000% on that. You should have kicked those people out. Of course you should.
I'm not talking about kicking them out. I'm talking about.
You want to go to jail? What do you want?
You are defending this guy Mick for what he said right after that happened. He's not anti-Semitic.
I'm not defending him.
No, if your brain goes in,
I'm not defending him, Dave. What I'm saying is you should have him on here or somebody else like that and fight with them, because then you have a conversation.
That's what this idiot wants.
Dave, these guys that wrote the thing at the bar, the Jews, right?
Yes.
You're going to fly them to Auschwitz. Some guy tweets at you something. You want to he's not. You can't come on.
It was a bar I owned. It was a bar I owned.
They should have been kicked out. But my thing is,
it's not just kick out, Kirk. Are you ignoring what's going on in the world?
No, I'm not. What, Dave? What do you want to do with those guys? What do you want to do with those guys in the bar? Put them in jail for 50 years? Fine. I don't care.
I didn't say that. You're quite literally changing everything you say, Kirk. If you just want me to kick him out, not mention it, not care that this kid is anti-Semitic, shut up. If you just want me to ignore it,
don't tell me to shut up.
Shut the up, you bald.
Okay, go ahead.
How's that?
Oh, it's kill. I'll never recover from that, Dave. Go ahead, continue. I'll never recover.
Well, you're the one who big boss man, don't tell. I'll tell you work for me.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
You work for me.
Sure, you bet. For now,
you
continue.
Don't? For now, quit. I don't care.
Is this show or not a show? Is it a show or not a show? We can't have a conversation?
You're an idiot.
Okay,
you're literally saying people should be allowed to make Jew jokes, say whatever they want right now. That's
yes, I think people should be allowed to make jokes.
So how many Jews have to be killed before you stop?
That everybody, I don't think.
What else? Where else is that happening with the religion or people?
All right, so obviously that was quite an erudite conversation, a lot of philosophical inquiry embedded within it, but I think nonetheless the point, even if you're not inclined to that kind of complexity, is quite clear that Dave Portnoy was saying, look, Jews are so endangered, so many Jews are being killed. I don't know exactly where that's happening. There was an incident where 2 staffers of the Israeli embassy were randomly murdered a couple weeks ago in Washington, D.C. I don't think that makes an epidemic of Jews being killed, but Dave Portnoy is essentially saying, look, this is not the time to be telling jokes about Jews. Maybe there's other times when it's okay to do that, but given all the things that are happening in the world, how many Jews have to die before we finally agree that jokes about Jewish people are off limits? And again, this is the person who has basically made a name for himself championing the cause of everything goes. Say whatever you want, as offensive as it is, especially if it's a joke. Nobody should ever say you can't say it, that it's offensive. And in fact, in the very same discussion where he more or less proclaimed that there ought to be a moratorium on telling Jew jokes, the very same Dave Portnoy advocated for and called for violence. He incited and called for the IDF to go and murder Greta Thunberg for the crime of trying to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza as an expression of opposition to what Israel is doing in Gaza. Here's what he said. This model of probity and responsible discourse, here is what he said in that same interview after declaring a moratorium on jokes about Jews because it's too dangerous.
You should just go over to Gaza. We can do unnamed. You can be live in Gaza.
I'll jump on Greta Van Thorsten or whatever that girl, she's sailing there. Like, whoever that fucking, I hope they hit a fucking, like, a missile on her boat.
Well, I hope they hit.
So, I don't know, it seems a little selective to me, but one of the things that, of course, I've been noticing for a long time is that so many people who were self-proclaimed free speech champions have suddenly found all sorts of reasons to support censorship when it comes to this one country and it comes to this one group. That's been a very common theme on our show. People who are railing against the snowflakes, who want to cancel people for saying offensive things, suddenly want all kinds of people fired who made comments that offend them about Israel. And so it was something I just couldn't help noting, because in this case it was such a glaring example of somebody who has been so proud, so aggressive, so vocal about how only losers and snowflakes get upset with jokes, and at the same time now suddenly declaring a moratorium on jokes when it comes to the group to which he belongs. And this is what I said in response to this video, quote, so many people transformed in record speed from, quote, only woke losers and snowflakes want to ban offensive speech to, quote, we must urgently ban jokes against one particular minority group, which coincidentally happens to be my own, because these jokes are too dangerous to allow. And that is the thing I've seen over and over. In response, this is what he said. Hey, Glenn, baby, you clearly didn't watch the entire video and are just using my name for clicks. I didn't even use his name. I don't know why I would need clicks. So let me clarify. I recently found out you were into that gay kink shit that got leaked. No judgment. We all have kinks. But I'll put it in terms you can understand. After the Pulse nightclub attack, when Omar Mateen killed a ton of gays because it violates his religion, if somebody tagged you seconds after that tragedy with a homophobic joke, you'd presumably hate that person and assume they were a homophobic dickhead, and rightfully so. It doesn't make it illegal, just makes them an asshole. Now, if a person says being gay is against the will of God and says you should murder all gays, including you, in cold blood, that to me is a problem and is no longer just free speech. So what I was saying, and you'd know if you watch the entire video, if people want to tag me and make Jew jokes right after a terrorist attack in the US, they can do that, and they are doing it, but those people are anti-Semitic pieces of shit. the, oh, Dave can't take a joke angle doesn't work for me in that case, because I'm sure if somebody made fun of a bunch of gays getting slaughtered, you wouldn't think it was funny. I didn't say they should go to jail, just that they are pieces of shit. And then it just kind of goes on in that vein. Now, the Pulse shooting did end up killing a lot of gay people. It was at a gay nightclub in Orlando, but as anybody who is familiar with that episode knows, the intention on the part of the person who did the killing had nothing to do with targeting gay people. He didn't even know Pulse was a gay nightclub. He was looking for a nightclub that was a soft target that didn't have security because of its popularity. That was the first one that came up in a Google search when he searched nightclubs Orlando. Never made a single homophobic remark while there, never suggested that was part of his motive. The trial proved that it wasn't. He was there to avenge what he said was U.S. aggression in Iraq and Syria and killing innocent civilians in places like Afghanistan, a kind of common terrorist attack and motive for it. But I don't recall anybody after the Pulse nightclub attack saying that jokes about gay people are now prohibited or banned or inappropriate. I don't recall people saying jokes about black people are now inappropriate or banned when there have been hate crimes committed against black people. And I also don't know what he thinks is comparable that has been done to American Jews, comparable to something like the Pulse shooting, where I think 51 people were murdered in cold blood. This is clearly him being extremely insensitive about claims of prejudice or claims of victimhood from every other group that he has nothing to do with, and a hypersensitive about supposed threats to or jokes about the group with which he identifies, which has become a very common dynamic that we've seen over and over from exactly these kinds of people. Thanks for watching this clip from System Update, our live show that airs every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Rumble. You can catch the full nightly shows live or view the backlog of episodes for free on our Rumble page. You can also find full episodes the morning after they air across all major podcasting platforms, including Spotify and Apple. All the information you need is linked below. We hope to see you there.